right, welcome to the fourth and final game, the second impressions of the evening in Hive Blight. Hive Blight is a roguelike auto-battler where you lead a team of insect warriors against a corrupting fungal threat. Build powerful synergies, uncover the source of the plague, and destroy it to save your world. I mean, yeah. So that is the broad strokes of what we got here. Now, it does initially look like a strategy game because, you see your insect warriors here and you're able to actually place them on the field, which is actually standard roguelike auto battler. Really, auto battlers in general, they don't have to be roguelike.
Just for setup, though.
Yeah. There is a bit of control in that you can assign a target to your units. Petty will not be able to do that because in order to change, you have to right click.
Yeah. I guess for those of you who missed Wednesday's podcast, my right click is broken because Soul had fun with my mouse.
Yep. And that mouse isn't getting replaced until Friday, I am told.
Yep.
So, thankfully, it being an auto battler, well, it's in the title, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, even if your entire mouse was broken, provided you had a way to just access things, you'd be able to play this.
Well, it looks like it has some rudimentary controller support.
That's not surprising, because a controller wouldn't be ideal, but it wouldn't be completely alien to this either. Because it's not like you need precision in this strategy here. Because once again, at least for the most part, I'd imagine it'd be most annoying when it comes to placing your items onto your warriors. Indeed, you can layer the strategy by getting items, winning battles, arriving at certain points on the map, and they will have various benefits, various status effects. Like I got a poison dagger, if I remember correctly. It's nothing out of the ordinary for roguelike and strategy games, but they are appreciated nonetheless. Also, in terms of placement, sometimes the units, the placement positions are split. You might have a east field and a west field. Take that into consideration. Yeah. And the other one is you can generally split the units into melee units and ranged units. Just check the hit points for that. Like if you got a 30 heart warrior there, that means you're supposed to keep them away from the insects. At least attempt to. There are some rounds where that's going to be really hard, if not impossible. Looking at you, end of boss round, with your literal swarm of minions. And the maximum amount of insect warriors you can have on the field is another thing that will increase over the course of a chapter. You start out with 2. The max amount was usually 4. I think you're able to get up to 6, maybe. I'm honestly not sure. Well, if there's a hard cap in that direction. And in terms of getting through a chapter, about 30 minutes, if that. Also, in terms of the metagame, it's about collecting new warriors and evolving, upgrading your current set among and collecting items for use in battle. The inspiring leader that allows you to carry more units, that is a chapter specific thing. Like if you go over to chapter 2, you got to do that over again. And like after chapter 1, you are able to play as 3 clans, as mentioned. Let me just give you the overview because honestly, I stuck with the one that I was playing. And then it becomes an alliance between the 2 clans. That's where the synergies. Anyway, the Vespedias excel in offense and debuffs. That's the default, quote unquote. That's the one you're playing as right now. The Silent Crabble use poison and ambush tactics, and the Sweet Symphony rely on healing and seduction, which do sound like very significant play styles. Just, I'll be honest, I didn't find this game compelling enough to continue on with multiple playthroughs. I mean, it's only 3 chapters right now, so you're going to blaze through the actual content pretty quickly. Because these are not long chapters. And, okay, I'll be honest, I generally don't prefer auto battlers as my strategy fix. Because, you can see that there's a bit of strategy going on here, but it's like, it's pretty brain dead at the end of the day. As in typical auto battler fashion, you put your units on the field and let God sort them out, or rather the RNG. So, as an auto battler, it's perfectly fine. It's just it's a bit thin on content, like the other game, Chicken Nuts, that we covered this week. Because it's just entered early access last month, and they are projecting a full year in early access. Because currently, currently the list is 3 clans, 30 plus unique characters, 3 chapters with a specific pause, 30 equipments, 30 plus equipments, sorry, and 30 plus trinkets. 9 different types of destinations on the map. So I don't know how much content they are aiming for in terms of 1.0. They're not exactly listing on that. Once again, much like Chicken Nuts, their early access notes are really talking more about the polish than content. They're talking about getting feedback from players, fine-tuning balancing, and expanding the game based on real player experience. So, kind of vague on what their content targets are there. That is actually a bit of a warning bell for me. Because they don't even have kind of a roadmap here to content drops, and this is actually a game where that's really needed. And they also do say that they will increase the price when it reaches 1.0. The thing is, this game is too expensive right now. I will fully say that. It's going for a weird price that might be a reference for something, but I don't know what. Because it's going for $12.49. Yeah, usually when we got a non-99-cent thing going on here, they're trying to say something. It's a joke.
Is it a
Um,
Euro
you
dev
know,
that could be a Euro conversion?
Or it could just be 50, but with the 90 thing.
possibly. All I know is it's 12.49. Which I'm finding way too expensive for this game right now for the amount of content you get. Even with multiple clans, this just like if this were like closer to $5, maybe $7, I think that would be acceptable for what they got here.
The
You
dev's
know,
from Belgium, so it's probably a Euro conversion.
mm. But the point is, there's not enough here to justify the price point.
Mm.
Um, in general, yeah, as an auto battler, it's working fine. Um, honestly, you've played some full-on auto battlers that didn't do that.
Right.
Like, so it's just a matter of what's on offer here, which once again I think is a higher consideration because it's an auto battler. You know, how much stuff you get, how much how much you can access. It's also once again the chapters are really short, so
Mm-hmm.
my impressions are fine enough auto battler. It needs to provide a roadmap at the very least before commitment to buying this right now. And that's about what I got. Anything further from you, Petty?
No, it's an alright game.
Yeah. Okay. Anything you wish to add, Golix?
Not really. It looks pretty neat, but it's an auto battler, which is not one of my favorite genres.
Yeah.
I don't want a game that mostly plays. I usually don't want a game that mostly plays itself while I occasionally poke at it what to do.
I honestly prefer idle games if I'm going to play one of those
Mm-hmm.
because that's the kind of thing. If done properly, we've gotten a couple of those recently where you have to keep it open.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like no, I like to keep that shit closed because honestly, like especially Card Corner, that was shit was just distracting.
Right. That's one of those ones
Any,
you need to have it on a second monitor, which is hard to do when you run a laptop.
yes. Anyway, so yeah, I think that'll about do it for this review slash impression session. So coming up on the week ahead, on Wednesday, April 29th, unfortunately we had a cancellation. I'm sure if Mac were part of Fragments of Silicon, he'd be complaining about this season having too many cancellations. I'm like,
Well, and
but the
also
thing is,
summer is coming, so we're probably going to be getting some more.
possibly, it's like I can't control cancellations. I can't control when guests don't show up unless I have to take the rare step of dynamiting it myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's part of the business.
Right.
So putting that aside, it will be a episode of conversational footage. This time we will be going back to the early YouTube era, as we will take a look at one of the more prominent reviewers from said era. As we'll be revisiting the Spoonie experiment and taking a look at what is generally considered the landmark review of that program.
Mm.
At least it is the review that's generally considered to be the one that made the show, so to speak. As we look at the Thing review. We do also have a new episode of Moonhawk Studios Presents planned. And in terms of Mac Watch, he hasn't chimed in, so I presume everything is going as well as it can
Mm-hmm.
under the circumstances.
Unless my mouse magically speeds up, we're probably not doing Final Fantasy XIV this week, because even if he did have time, because kind of hard to play with a broken mouse.
Mm.
I mean, it's playable with
Especially-
controller, but I almost quit the game because I don't like the way the controller works.
Anyway, we do have a Friday show this week. Coming up on Friday, May 1st, we'll be having Mike of Archangel Softworks. We will be talking about their... no, I believe this game is out now. It is Highway Noir, which is actually more, as it says on the tin, than you'd expect. As in, it's a racing game, there's a highway, and it's at night. Or rather, everything everything's black, except for the lights. You know, it's got this contrast thing going on here. So look forward to that on Friday. And until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.